Hey, hey, hey. Happy Monday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The dispatch is live and in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Yes. Welcome back to the Duct Tape Studios and happy holidays. I'm Jeff McAleer, back once again as your host here at the Dispatch, as well as happening to be the grand poobah of the gaminggang.com. So welcome aboard, everybody. Today is Monday, December 7th, 2020. This is episode 584. Yes, this is almost a 600 live streams. Yowza. So if this is your first time joining me, let me point out this is very, very casual. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So we chat about board games and card games, role-playing games, miniatures games. What's going on your tabletop? We're probably talking about it. Every once in a while, I'll talk a little PC gaming, some pop culture. But suffice to say, this is not rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. Just hanging out, having some fun. So if you're a first-time visitor, welcome aboard. Kick back, relax, make yourself comfortable. Those out there who are regular viewers, howdy, howdy. Welcome back. I haven't chased you away yet. That is cool. So, of course, do want to mention that if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell. Because not only will it let you know when the Dispatch airs live, it'll also inform you when I upload other videos, such as my recent review of Monsters of the City, Sins and Virtues from Kwood Publishing. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. So Flaming Huron is first out the gate saying howdy in chat tonight. And the Madman is here as well. Good to see you both. So as you can see, the title of the show has changed a little bit. I mean, it's just the Dispatch. So I'm also going to change my thumbnail because just showing like the Gaming Gang Dispatch and little images, I don't know, it doesn't seem that exciting. Not that I like to have my mug out there on every episode of the stream. I mean, I'm in front of the camera the whole thing anyway, so I guess it's not that big a deal if it's also out there on the thumbnail as well. So a few things that I want to mention before we jump on into the news. 79 years ago today was the bombing of Pearl Harbor, which was a day that will live in infamy. It has lived in infamy. It's certainly not a date that anyone will forget. Doesn't matter if you're here in the United States or not, because that effectively really did open up the Pacific War for all parties involved. So I know a lot of people out there listen to like old radio broadcasts and things like that for like the historical. I'm a big fan of old time radio, and I tend to listen to old time radio quite a bit in my downtime. And there is actually an episode of The Great Gildersleeve, which was, I guess we could say it was kind of like the first sitcom on the radio. And it was in its first season. I think it's like maybe the fourth or fifth episode of the show itself. And Gildersleeve was actually a minor character on Fibber McGee and Molly, which was a very famous old-time radio show. And I think it's like about the 5th or 6th episode of The Great Gildersleeve. They cut in towards the end of the episode with the news that Pearl Harbor has been bombed, and they wrap up the show like really fast. It's really like, holy cow. It's like, wow. Very, very strange. And to be honest, I might be wrong, but I think it is actually the only surviving broadcast that was interrupted with the news of the bombing at Pearl Harbor. So if you get an opportunity, check it out. Actually, The Great Gildersleeve is an excellent old-time radio show. It still holds up. It's still pretty funny, even to this day. So the Madman says they played some old broadcasts from World War II, Churchill, FDR, during his Savage Worlds WW2 campaign. Nice. Very cool. Just, add a little ambiance, a little more immersion for the players. Other thing I do want to mention, I talked about how my sister-in-law's family up in Michigan, they all had COVID, and her father had been hospitalized, and he was out of the hospital. So far, so good. Nobody else has had to go into the hospital. So that is big thumbs up there. So I figured I'd give everybody a heads up on that. And last week, I was talking about how my friend Karen out in Arizona had to undergo emergency triple bypass surgery. And just saw she had gone on social media yesterday to let people know that she made it through. Although I got to be honest, I'm still concerned because, and I believe I mentioned this last week, real good friend of mine and my best friend, Elliot Miller, our real good friend of ours, Bob, who lived out in Reno, underwent the triple bypass. It wasn't even like an emergency triple bypass. They had it scheduled for him to go in. And 10 days later, the day before, I should say the night before, he was supposed to be released from intensive care, he died. And it happened to be, we got the news, it was our first day at Gen Con. We were going to grab some lunch when Elliot's wife called to break the news, and that was not a good day. Certainly not a good day. So fingers crossed for my friend Karen, because she's not out of the woods just yet. So John Vogel is in chat as well. Beat Cafe has joined us also. Welcome aboard, everybody. Let's jump on into the news, because this January, AEG and the OP, I think it's the OP because it's USA Opoly and they call it the OP. I don't think it's the OP. Anyway, AEG and the OP are going to team up for Smash Up Marvel. Here's the scoop from the OP. The shuffle building game Smash Up begins with a simple premise. Take the 20-card decks of two factions, shuffle them into a deck of 40 cards, and then compete to crush more bases than your opponents. Each faction involves a different gaming mechanism, and each combination of factions brings a different gaming experience. In Smash Up Marvel, players smash up two groups of Marvel characters, such as the vigilant members of the Ultimates or the criminal masterminds Hydra, to take over bases and score the most victory points. Mix and match the different decks of heroes and villains to see which combinations can best defeat the others. This game allows for fans to create stories that have never existed in the Marvel Universe. What combo will you choose? Smash Up Marvel is for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, plays around 30 to 60 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of $34.99 when it arrives in stores in January. We had already had a little bit of info about Marvel. Well, I should say Smash Up Marvel. I kept calling it Marvel Smash Up because that's actually what I thought it was going to be titled. But we finally did get an MSRP, and we do have at least a release month. So it is arriving next month. Gotta say, I'm a little disappointed that the art style is just a kind of a, I guess I'll say it's a mishmash of various different art styles. I would have liked to have seen them use the same artist that they use for all the Smash Up releases to do the Marvel. We got the artist to do the cover. So I don't know. I think it's going to look kind of odd, because normally when you're playing Smash Up and you've got the various different factions and you mix your two together, the artwork's similar, so that it doesn't stand out like a sore thumb. To me, I don't know. Kind of gives me the feeling, I mean, I'd like to check this out, but also, like I said, I'm a little surprised that they've kind of gone with just a variety of art styles, which no doubt have already appeared elsewhere for Marvel. Clint Gibson has joined us again, 2 Mondays in a row. So Clint says, means I'm not making money, but I get to enjoy the show. Well, I wish you were making money and enjoying the show. Anyway, keep your eyes open for Smash Up Marvel when it arrives in stores next month. Hachette Games is releasing Quetzal later this month. Here are the details. Quetzal, the city of sacred birds, has just been discovered. You have 5 days to explore the site and collect the most beautiful objects that are buried there. Will you be able to manage the team entrusted to you on a daily basis to optimize your excavations? Be smarter than the competition to emerge from Quetzal unscathed. At the beginning of each turn, roll your meeple dice and discover your team. Send your groups to different places in the city to collect the artifacts you're most interested in. Be careful. Even if you arrive first, your opponents can still steal your place. Build the best collection of artifacts and deliver them at the right time to earn improvements and victory points. Do you have the spirit of an expedition leader? Quetzal is for 2 to 4 players, ages 10 and up, plays in around 15 minutes, and will carry an MSRP of $34.99 when it arrives later this month. And I believe it's actually coming out next week. I don't have an exact date, but I thought I understood it was supposed to be coming out the middle of the month. And of course, wouldn't you want to be releasing a game before the holidays as opposed to after the holidays? So one of the things I find very interesting about this is it's Hachette, it's actually a book company. In fact, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I listen to audiobooks. Some of them happen to be from Hachette Audio. I'm kind of surprised they are now releasing board games. There are a trio of games that are on the horizon. I think they're all coming out at the same time. This is the one that really caught my eye the most, that this looks like a gamer's game as opposed to like a really light kind of gateway game. Could be interesting. Could be very, very interesting. So we will try to keep our eyes peeled, see if we find out anything about this. I got to point out, I have absolutely no connections with this company whatsoever, because until, yesterday, I knew nothing about them. Kind of wild, kind of cool. All right, moving right along. Since it is Pearl Harbor Day, let's share a World War II war game that is arriving from GMT Games in January. Yes, I'm talking about Atlantic Chase. Atlantic Chase simulates the naval campaigns fought in the North Atlantic between the surface fleets of the Royal Navy and the Kriegsmarine between 1939 and 1942. It utilizes a system of trajectories to model the fog of war that bedeviled the commands during this period. Just as the pins and strings adorned Churchill's wall represented the course of the ships underway, players arranged trajectory lines across the shared game board, each line representing a task force's path of travel. Without resorting to dummy blocks, hidden movement, or a double-blind system requiring a referee or computer, players can experience the uncertainty endemic to this period of naval warfare. This system also has the benefit of allowing the game to be played solitaire and to be played quickly. The German player's task is clear: sever Britain's lifeline to its overseas colonies and allies. All hangs on the fate of convoys. Ultimately, success or failure in Atlantic chase will hinge on the Kriegsmarine's ability to break out into the Atlantic and find convoys while frustrating British attempts to catch the raiders. The game chronicles the development of the Royal Navy's strategy to contain the German fleet by pitting players against each other in 5 successive operations that comprise a campaign game. 7 additional scenarios treat specific historical actions, including a Sink the Bismarck scenario, a PQ-17 scenario, and the Channel Dash. The game features battleships, aircraft carriers, cruisers, convoys, and pocket battleships, while U-boats, elusive armed merchant raiders, and air assets play an important role too. Operations during the campaign game and standalone historical scenarios each take 1 to 2 hours to play. Will the German player do what the Kriegsmarine never managed? Execute a large-scale coordinated operation, knocking Churchill to his knees? Or will the Admiralty catch and destroy Germany's great battleships before they become an unanswerable force? Atlantic Chase is for 2 players, ages 14 and up, plays in 1 to 2 hours, as mentioned previously. You can still pre-order this game at the P500 price. At least as of this morning, you could. The P500 price is $45. The MSRP, when this arrives in January, is actually going to be $69. Once again, this is a January release from GMT Games. Interesting. This is not your typical hex encounter sort of war game at all. In fact, I think you kind of plot out the paths that your fleets are taking. I don't know. I have no idea. Basically, all I know about this game is what I just shared with you. I know there are some articles that are out there floating around about Atlantic Chase, and kind of like designer diaries that you might want to take a peek at. I am a huge fan of naval games, always have been. Now I've got that soft spot for Fletcher Pratt's naval war game. Sweet. So the Madman says, just watched a show about this on Amazon Prime, Grey Wolves, earlier today. What a coincidence. What a coinkydink. Told you before, we've been talking a lot about GMT Games lately. They have a bunch of P500s. They've got other stuff on the horizon. It's all good. It's all good if you like those conflict sims. All right, let's talk a little bit about role-playing game news, because the trophy series of role-playing games are up for pre-order right now. Here's the scoop. First off, Trophy Dark is a game of psychological horror. It's about doomed treasure hunters exploring an ancient forest that doesn't want them there. As the treasure hunters get closer and closer to the heart of the forest, it does everything it can to tear them apart, drive them mad, and if they're lucky, kill them. Even if the treasure hunters survive the incursion and satisfy their personal goals, they will have done so at a terrible cost and are most likely changed forever. Then we've got Trophy Gold, which is a game of desperation and risk. It's about penniless treasure hunters exploring the deep and forgotten places of the world and the wonders and monstrosities they find there. The longer these adventurers stay on the hunt, the greater their chance of recovering treasures that will allow them to retire in comfort and security. But should they delve too deep, should they linger in the wilds too long, their chances of survival vanish. Then we've got Trophy Loom, which is a system-agnostic setting book detailing the world Trophy takes place in. It can be used with Trophy Dark and Trophy Gold, or as a campaign world for another fantasy role-playing game. It's a tool to create new trophy incursions, as well as to inspire the next great old-school fantasy module. Above all, it's been designed with flexibility and usability in mind. Open it up and take whatever you need to make your campaign exciting and dangerous. Each of these books are going to be available in hardcover. They have a pre-order price of $40 each, which is $5 less than the MSRP is going to be. You can also score all three in PDF with a digital offer for $30. These books are expected out in March. Do you want to mention, if you check out Fear of a Black Dragon, there is a special episode that just dropped talking about the Trophy RPG, Trophy Dark, Trophy Gold, and a bit of discussion about Loom as well. I think, if I remember correctly, the book that is closest to going to the printer is actually Trophy Dark, because that's the one that's been out for a bit longer. So essentially, Trophy Dark is kind of a horror game, kind of horror fantasy, kind of dark fantasy. Trophy Gold is more along the lines of kind of traditional old school Renaissance fantasy role playing with a bit of the Trophy Dark in the mix for it as well. Whereas Trophy Loom is the setting book that you can use with either one or both of the Trophy RPGs, or just use it yourself just as a campaign world. There are some other items that are available. There are some decks of cards for the characters, because I guess character generation can be very quick. You can do it random. I guess we've got some cards, decks. I think there's 5 of them total that you can utilize as well. I have heard good things about Trophy. And I think both of them, I think Trophy Gold and Trophy Dark both appeared first in the Gauntlet magazine, which is Codex, the Codex magazine. I think both of them did. I'm not positive. Don't hold me to that. I think they both did. I know Trophy Dark did. But I got to be honest, I have not seen any of this. But like I said, I've heard good word of mouth about the Trophy RPG. And to be honest, 3 books for $30. If you're going to go digitally, that seems like a pretty fair price. So Ibram has arrived in chat with us as well. So John Vogel mentioned that Jerry White has videos on how to play, I believe he's talking about Atlantic Chase. I don't think he's talking about something else. On YouTube. Cool deal. All right. So Ibram said, somebody quote Jeff on that quick. Jeff said that you could see both those role-playing games in the Gauntlet Codex magazine. He said it. I heard him. Oh, I know. Hey, at least you're not putting words in my mouth that never came out of my mouth. I love when I get comments about that on videos. Y'all, you said this. And it's like, at no point did I ever say that. Yes, I know. All right, my final news piece, now available at DriveThruRPG as a pay what you want, is Last Voyage of the Blackened Heart, a murder mystery role-playing game. Welcome to Last Voyage of the Blackened Heart, a murder mystery role-playing game. I already said that. This is a new scenario for the same set of rules as the Ballad of Texas Red, but the full rules are included here as well. The Blackened Heart is a mighty vessel, known for its savagery and fear throughout the Caribbean, however you like to pronounce it. But the days of piracy are nearing their end, and nobody can be trusted anymore. When the cabin boy goes missing, and there's blood on the gun deck, pistols are loaded and cutlasses drawn. A shadow looms over the Blackened Heart, and it looks like the cabin boy won't be the only one dead by the time this voyage is over. This is a one-off social deception role-playing game for 5 or 6 players. Players role-play as their characters using snippets of knowledge no one else knows to slowly solve the many mysteries of this ship. Players will lie and deceive, plot and scheme, and when your suspicions are confirmed, shoot to kill. This isn't a game for sitting around a table. It's a game for standing, for whispering, for pulling your friend into another room away from listening ears. Also included are rules for playing online over voice or video calls. An extra person is needed to act as a moderator in online play. Good luck and trust no one. As mentioned, the last voyage of the Blackened Heart is for 5 or 6 players, and the PDF is pay what you want with a suggested price of $2.50 over at Drive-Thru RPG. Could be kind of interesting, could be a little different. Something, nice little one-shot that everybody can play if you're all sitting around a table together. You don't need a game master for it. Sweet. And of course, it is available at Drive-Thru RPG. And speaking of Drive-Thru RPG, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to swing over to say, oh, I don't know, Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you do happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. And all those little portions, all those nickels, dimes, and quarters, all add up and really do help keep the Gaming Gang website around. So, and of course, there are a lot of people out there who do click on those banner ads. I really, really appreciate it because I don't have GoDaddy cheapo $4 a month hosting. So that's it for the news. So I do want to talk about a couple of other items. First of all, started going through some stuff for I guess, putting together an auction. So I am sort of curious if people are interested in me including role-playing games as well as board games in the auction. Because I actually have quite a lot of stuff that, I got to be honest, is not going to see the light of day at my game table. It really won't. But I also pointed this out last week regarding the auction. Keep in mind, you're not going to be picking any of this stuff up for less than half of MSRP. Because, for one, I don't beat stuff up. Like, for an example, now, this may not necessarily be an item that I do auction off, but essentially I read through, give it a review, that's it. I play a board game 3 times. Everybody makes sure that they take good care of everything. I am a stickler for not trashing my games. And then that's pretty much it. So, of course, items that we play a lot of, I'm not auctioning off. But you'd be surprised. I've got a lot of, for an example, I've got a lot of Dark Eye stuff. I've got some other Ulysses games as well. So I would have to go look through. I've got some, some smaller releases, some more independent releases as well. Other thing is, I will probably package them together because I don't want to be like, so for an example, right? So like the Dark Eye, I don't want to be selling like the core book and then I'm stuck with the rest of it because it's like, it's no reason for me to hang on to it. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'll probably start the auction on the 13th. It'll be on thegaminggang.com. Effectively, I'm gonna share images of what's available as well as have a list of everything and their opening bids. And if you want to jump on board, all you got to do is comment in the comment section. Pretty much it. So all that's going to be to it. So see what happens. So the Madman says there are 2 Savage Worlds Humble Bundles that are available until December 28th. Stealing my thunder for tomorrow, Madman. Jeez. So the Madman says, yeah, RPGs and board games, yes, please. Flaming Huron says thumbs up on the RPGs. Clint says, I'm all in for RPGs. And Ibram's just like giving us a side eye in chat. All right. So the other thing I was going to talk about is got a bunch of videos done. What I am going to try to do, I don't know if I can pull this off. I am going to try to do this. I am going to try to make sure that there is a new unboxing or review every day through December up until Christmas Eve. So I will even, because I'll have shot it ahead of time, I'll even post one on Christmas Eve. So, because I've got loads of stuff. Well, I shouldn't say that. Okay, I shouldn't say I got loads of stuff because then suddenly it'll be like nothing, right? You're like, oh, the hell with Jeff. We're not sending him anything. All right. Anyway, back to the auction thing. I should mention that I figured I would run the auction from the 13th through, let me take a peek here, the 21st. So it's not going to run for weeks and weeks and weeks. That said, I will not start shipping things out until the 28th. So, yeah, because it'd be crazy trying to get stuff out for the holidays. So, yeah, I don't want to have to spend, hours standing in line at the post office. So we'll have options as far as how you want to have it shipped to. But that's kind of how we'll do it. And you'll just pay through PayPal. So I will give you a PayPal address. It's just Jeff McAleer at thegaminggang.com. And if you are the auction winner for whatever items, total it up. We'll try to package all the stuff together so it's only one shipping fee. And we'll take it from there. So the madman says, sorry for dampening that humble bundle thunder. That's okay. So anyway, so as I mentioned, I've got the review for Monsters of the City. So I've got that. I also just shared my review for Hunt a Killer, Death at the Dive Bar. That went live earlier this morning. I will be sharing my review for 10-Gallon Tank tomorrow. So you got that to look forward to. I had a bunch of other videos that are in the can. I just have to finish graphics for them. If you haven't checked it out, I know it's a long video, but Dark Rituals, Malleus Maleficorum, is that it? Maleficarum. I did an unboxing of the core game as well as one of the expansions, the Kickstarter stretch goals, as well as the Swordsman expansion. And I have to say, there are some really cool miniatures in this game. Now, I have no clue how the game's going to play. I don't know if it's going to be any good or not, but I can tell you that the minis look really sweet. So that video is already out. And amazingly enough, it's actually pulling in some views. More views than I was expecting, because I don't honestly think a lot of people are on this. I don't know. For one, it's not an American company. It's not a company that's here in the U.S. And it's kind of, I don't know if when it's hitting stores, I think the core game might hit stores like early next year, sometime maybe in January. Because I know the Kickstarter backers were getting fulfillment. And that's how mine came along. It was something that the folks over at Hachette Games wanted to send along for me to do a review of. So they sent me, it's not everything. There's a bunch of stuff for it. But yeah, definitely check it out. And I think the MSRP on the core game is about $125, $120, maybe. There's still kind of like a late pledge that's open, but the strange thing is I couldn't get into it to see what it was. So because I didn't actually back this. It was sent to me as a review copy. Also, something else. Oh, this box is just huge and heavy. This will be up later on this week. I did an unboxing for Perdition's Mouth, Abyssal Rift, and another game that has some very cool miniatures in it. So my understanding with Perdition's Mouth, it is a dungeon delve, but it's a cooperative Euro-styled game. There's no dice. I can tell you that right now. It's a bunch of cards, and it looks like you're going to utilize your cards for like action resolution, like combat, things like that. But very, very cool looking miniatures with that as well. Both Dark Rituals and Perdition's Mouth got kudos to the amount of detail on those minis, and they're plastic, but they are not that soft plastic that you've got to treat, and it's such a pain in the ass trying to paint, because even after you've treated it, it's either still a little flimsy or it's really brittle and easy to break. So Flaming Heron says, damn, didn't even see the video get released. I'll give it a watch. Obviously, I think Flaming Heron's talking about Dark Rituals. I think that is probably a Flaming Heron sort of game. And the Madman says, yeah, I waited until the end trying to avoid it. Epic fail. Trying to avoid watching the video? I don't know. So anyway, I got loads of other stuff. I got role-playing game stuff. I still have Lost Ruins of Arnak, my review of that. Falling Skies, which is also from Czech Games Edition as well. So plenty of stuff. Like I said, I am doing my best. This will be like my holiday gift. It's like, yeah. It's like big deal. What kind of gift is that? Oh, jeez. Kind of my holiday gift to you. A new video with some game of some sort every day until Christmas. So the Madman said, try to avoid ruining my thunder. Didn't work too well. That's okay. It's just tomorrow's news. It's not, we didn't discuss what it was for Savage Worlds. So I think today was the final few hours for the Symborum Humble Bundle. So I think that ended because that's why we've got the Savage Worlds. One leaves, another emerges. All right, so let's see. Anything? Oh, yeah, that's right. Also want to mention my review of The Excellence is coming. It's on the horizon. It'll be this week. You'll see it this week as well. It's kind of a follow-up. If you saw the Mazes review I did, the review of Mazes, I should say, from 9th Level Games. Same system, except this is more aimed towards kids or young at heart, really young at heart. So you'll see my review of that. Pretty much what I thought of Mazes is about what I think of The Excellence as well. So there's a clue if you happen to seen it. So the Madman says everyone has to come back tomorrow to find out what that Humble Bundle is, because he's not telling. Of course, between you and I, you could just go to Humble Bundle and find out. Is it Humble Bundle or is it Bundle of Holding that had it? I thought it was Bundle of Holding. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was Humble Bundle with the Savage Worlds. I will point out, not that I have, like a preference between the two. Humble Bundle RPG bundles are usually a phenomenal deal. They usually start off at $1, and you get like all the starter books that you need for whatever is being offered. And then they usually top out at like $15. And you get loads of stuff. They had a Pathfinder one that was just insane. Flaming Heron says it's bundle of holding. That's what I thought it was. Once again, something that every once in a while I kind of mix up myself. So the Madman points out, yes, it is bundle of holding. So there you go. So people are all over at Humble Bundle going, I don't see the Savage Worlds bundle, man. What's going on? Is it like a secret? All right. Anyway, anything cooking that we should talk about? Okay, here's something. It has absolutely nothing to do with tabletop gaming, gaming of any sort, really. But I did see this earlier, and I think it was like something that was trending on Twitter pretty big. So I'm going to assume that probably a few of you out there watching have seen this as well. I guess the former chief of the Israeli Space Agency has said that there are aliens. They have been in contact with the Israelis and the United States for years. They are part of a galactic federation, and we have not been told about it because our governments don't think that we could handle it. I was like, so you're basically telling me that a former chief of, they said space agency, so I don't know, has snapped, has gone crazy. Hey, I'm not saying that could not be possible, because I know Bill Clinton, when he was going into office, when he was going in, to the White House, one of the things that he was really looking forward to doing was finding out about Roswell and Area 51, and did these aliens really exist, and things like that. And I had heard him say, after he was no longer in office, someone had asked him about, was he able to learn anything? And he said, no, I was told I didn't have high enough security clearance. Which, I gotta be honest, would make sense, right? You got these, muckety mucks in the Pentagon who've been there forever. They see, a president come in, they're like, 4 years, 8 years, they'll be out of here. We're not telling them anything. So Clint Gibson says, aliens in 2020. I got 2020 bingo. That's right. Because if you have Galactic Federation Israelis on your 2020 bingo card, you've won all the prizes. So Flaming Heron asks, isn't he part of Majestic 7? I don't know. I honestly, I have no clue. I just find it weird. I just find it very strange. Who knows? I would think most of the stuff that has been seen as unidentified flying objects and things like that, my assumption is it's experimental aircraft. Because even when I was driving through Nevada one night, back when I was delivering RVs and that around the country, I was running an RV out to, I'm trying to remember if I was going to Reno or if I was going to LA. Oh, no, not LA, San Francisco. I think I was running something out to San Francisco, and I was driving through middle of nowhere, Nevada. And of course, this would be northern Nevada. So we're not talking near Area 51. And in the night sky, because it was pitch black, well, except for, headlights and that. You can see the stars and everything. All of a sudden, I see this dot just go zip, 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 zip. I was like, whoa! It's like, what is that? Thankfully, I didn't lose any time. Like, I didn't have missing hours of my life or anything like that. But I was like, holy jamoly. Zoinks. One of these days, I'll have to tell you my ghost story, too. Ooh, I lived in a haunted house. Seriously, really haunted. I should have shared that maybe around Halloween, huh? Oh, well. So, Flaming Heron says there's a Cyberpunk one going on, Humble Bundle, and a Warhammer 40K Humble Bundle. Yeah, the Warhammer one is from Cubicle 7, and if I remember right, they're actually selling the Warhammer 40K role-playing game that was from Fantasy Flight Games. Because Cubicle 7 Entertainment has the rights to print all that, or not maybe print it, but at least sell that digitally, which I thought was very weird, right? I mean, it was an FFG series of games. I think it's Dark Heresy or something like that. I was not up on that at all. But yes, that is a Humble Bundle that they've got right now. So speaking of Cyberpunk, I did run across some early reviews for Cyberpunk 2077, and they're all over the place for it. There's some reviewers out there who are saying, "Oh my gosh, it's a 10 out of 10." And other reviewers are out there saying it's a 7 out of 10. I mean, that's a pretty big swing to go from one, some outlets are saying, "Oh my gosh, this is phenomenal," to other outlets saying, it's all right. And that was, I could see if it's got bugs, which I'm assuming it does. What game doesn't have bugs when they come out now? And it's kind of funny. It seems like they play test this stuff way longer. They have early access way longer than they ever did before. And I swear, it seems like there's way more bugs in games now. Maybe it's just because of, the computing power that's available to us. But I'm wondering if it's like 7 out of 10 because it's buggy, where that would change once they, wrangle up some of these bugs. I don't know. I have no idea. So Flaming Heron says mostly positive, at least on Metacritic. Seems only a couple are mixed. I honestly don't pay attention to most because they have agendas. Really? Like IGN? I wouldn't believe anything in IGN. And it's, I'm not knocking the website. I mean, the website's fine. But yeah, there's been some stuff out there that everyone else approached critically with an open mind, but they said, "Hey, this isn't so great." But it was like Electronic Arts, and IGN was like, "Oh, this is fantastic," and they were the only ones saying it was fantastic. So I don't know. I have no idea. I gotta be honest. I probably won't play it. Or I won't play it for a long time because I'm still messing around with Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm not very far through that either. So Flaming Heron says, I get my reviews from YouTubers who I know and respect. There is one guy, and I forget what the initials stand for, and he's older. He's probably maybe around my age. ACD. And his criteria is kind of like buy, rent, wait for a deep discount, or stay away from. He tends to give pretty even-handed reviews, which I like. Plus, they're not 2-3 minute long reviews, which to me, I still think anything that you get a review copy of, if you're doing a 3-minute review, I don't think you're really doing much service for that. And I know, I see it all the time, like on Board Game Geek, got these, reviewers who, most of them I've never heard of, who have more subscribers than I've got. But their forte is 3-minute reviews. and they'll get a lot of people who watch their reviews. I think to myself, if I were a game company who was providing review copies of stuff, is that 3-minute review actually going to entice somebody to buy something? I don't think so. So Flaming Huron says ACG. Yeah, I didn't know for a time it's Angry Centaur Gaming. Yeah, there you go. Right. It's ACG, right. And yeah, he's pretty entertaining. And one of the aspects about him is that he'll tackle some games that you're not going to see a lot of people reviewing. So let's say like Crusader Kings 3. Crusader Kings 3 isn't I mean, granted, yes, if you like Paradox interactive stuff, sure, of course you're like, all right. But for the most part, you're not seeing, Tom, Dick, and Harry, or Tom, Dick, and Mary reviewers out there going, hey, let me tell you all about Crusader Kings 3. Well, of course not. So Clint Gibson says low attention span kids nowadays have the 3-minute review. Yeah, I know. I get it. It's like everybody's like, oh my gosh, that TikTok video is too long. And of course, Flaming Heron says, you can't do a review in 3 minutes. You barely scratch the surface of anything. There was someone, a woman, once again, no idea who this is, but I guess her forte is reviews in a minute or less. And she did a review for Dune Imperium. And she had loads of views. And I will tell you, and it was just her talking. If I remember correctly, it was just her. It was just a talking head video. I don't remember she was showing off the game at all. And once again, I mean, hey, if that's your shtick, cool, whatever, that's fine. But I'm telling you, there isn't a single person who watched that video that was a minute long and said, oh, that's it, I'm buying it now. So, I don't know. Anyway, I am trying to shrink my videos down so they're shorter because I tend to ramble on a lot because I don't script them. I don't, if I script stuff, then I sound way too fake and phony, and I don't like that. All right. Anyway, that is it for tonight's show. Unless there's any last minute items anybody wants to pop up here in chat. I'm pretending to look at my watch. I don't actually have a watch on. Oh, I will point out I've got all my Christmas shopping done. Everything has arrived. So, in fact, you may notice just over my shoulder is a new Funko Pop. So I have a few new items floating around. So I got some new little holiday characters up as well. So one of the things I got a Funko of the original, the first appearance of Spider-Man, because if you visit thegaminggang.com, my brother provides kind of like the weekly comic, I don't want to say forecast. It's not necessarily news. It's just, okay, here's what's coming out from Marvel this week. Here's what's coming out from DC or Dynamite Entertainment, what have you. But he is the comic book collector. And of course, one of the comics that it's just like a holy grail is Amazing Fantasy 15, which is the first appearance of Spider-Man. And my brother's collection actually goes back to like Spider-Man 4. I think he does have some Amazing Fantasy that Spider-Man was in, because I think there's like 3 or 4 issues of Amazing Fantasy with Spider-Man. I might be wrong. But I mean, my brother has, like comics from World War II. So, I mean, he's got Golden Age stuff, but he's a Silver Age fan. I mean, that's really what we grew up on. So anyway, so he just would love to have the first appearance of Spider-Man. And I think, yeah, I moved it. It's already in the gift bag. So I got him a little Funko Pop, and it's the first appearance of Spider-Man. So he's got like the little kind of like webbing under his arms and stuff. So of course I'm going to play it off as, well, Greg, I know you've always wanted the first appearance of Spider-Man. Here you go. It's as like a gag. Just like my sister-in-law Dawn she watches all these mystery shows, and one of her favorite shows is Murder, She Wrote. So I got her a Jessica Fletcher pop as a gag. I got everybody well, except for my mom and dad, a Funko Pop of some sort. So actually, my niece, I got quite a few because she is a big Funko Pop vinyl, is what they used to call them, vinyl pops. But I think everybody just calls them pops now. But she is a big fan. So I got her some exclusive ones for Christmas because she's 13. It's not, you know. So Flaming Heron says, well, as long as people have a sense of humor, that's not all they're getting for Christmas. They're getting real gifts too. Jeez. I don't know. I always have like a little gag gift that everybody gets at Christmas time. It's just, you know, I have fun with it. I probably get a bigger kick out of it than anybody else does, but. All righty then. Flaming Heron's like, uh-huh. That's it for this time out. Once again, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell, because not only will it let you know when I upload standalone videos, such as my upcoming review for The Excellence, I'll also let you know when the Dispatch airs live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, as I bring you the latest in tabletop gaming news. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in gaming news, reviews, comics, movies, TV. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. One thing I should mention before I finish up talking about subscribing to the channel, I am amazed that there are people who hang out and chat who have not subscribed to the channel. It's like, really? It's like, what? Very surprised. Most of you do, but there are some regulars in chat. It's like, wow, you're not a subscriber? It's okay. Anyway, those of you who were watching live, thank you very much. Always appreciate you keeping me company so I'm not just babbling on and on and on to no one besides the camera. But then again, I do know there are a lot of you out there who don't have an opportunity to watch live. I really, really appreciate you as well, taking some time out to watch this knucklehead pontificate, you know, here on YouTube. All right, anyway, everybody enjoy the rest of your Monday night / Tuesday, whenever. I will be back tomorrow. And of course, as I wrap up all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, I really do hope all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, if you'd like to subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel, by all means, click right here. And if you'd like to check out one of our recent live streams, click right up top. And if you want to roll the dice and see what the algorithm for YouTube recommends, click right here. And of course, thank you once again for watching. And gang, please stay safe and wear a mask.